Welcome back to the dimension where we confront the brutal truths of the collective unconscious. Today, we are descending into Karl Jung's most terrifying case studies, the psychological phenomenon he called the alchemical moment. This is the instant when the gentlest, most giving soul, the empath, reaches a breaking point that unleashes a power more formidable, more precise, and more strategically dangerous than their abuser could ever comprehend. You see, society tells you the kindest people are weak. Jung knew the terrible truth. They are weapons waiting to be forged. He documented patient after patient, empaths who had been systematically destroyed, absorbing everyone else's pain, alcoholic parents, raging spouses, emotional vampires. They were the emotional shock absorbers of their social systems, repositories for collective psychological pain. But Jung realized these individuals weren't just enduring abuse, they were studying it. Their minds operated not as a victim's diary, but as a strategist's war room, waiting for the moment of activation. They possessed psychological genius in hiding. They could excavate people's deepest wounds just by watching their micro-expressions, mapping emotional patterns with surgical precision. Their intuitive intelligence was a highly sophisticated data processing system, capable of achieving 95% accuracy in diagnosing others' hidden traumas. The terrifying irony? Society taught this gift was a curse, silencing their intuition by calling them too sensitive or overly emotional. But the truth doesn't disappear just because you stop speaking it. It accumulates. And in the empath, this accumulation creates the bomb. The transformation doesn't happen gradually. It happens in one explosive moment. The trigger is almost always betrayal. Betrayal by someone the empath completely trusted and protected by the empathy. It's not just the act itself, but the horrifying realization that they had seen the signs all along and ignored them. Most people expect chaos, crying, screaming. The narcissist, the manipulator, the emotional vampire, they are prepared for emotional chaos because that's the currency they trade in. What happens instead is the clarity event. The empath becomes unnaturally calm. Jung documented this as the moment when someone finally integrates their analytical capabilities with their emotional intelligence. They don't attack, they begin to speak truth, not with cruelty, but with clinical precision. Like surgeons, they identify each diseased organ before removing it. This silence, this calm, this precision, it terrifies the unconscious manipulator more than any rage ever could. This isn't revenge, this is shadow integration. The empath stops denying the suppressed intelligence, the silenced intuition, the denied strength they were taught to hide. They stop being passive absorbers and transform into a sovereign healer. They are, quite simply, psychologically complete. What does this transformation create? Emotional impermeability. The awakened empath develops what Jung called boundary fortresses around their psychological space. They decide what can and cannot affect their inner state. They achieve this through the shadow mirror effect. When someone triggers them, say a narcissistic colleague or a manipulative family member, they don't react defensively. They ask 3 questions. What trait in this person am I judging most harshly? Where do I exhibit this same trait, even in small ways? What is this trigger trying to teach me about myself? This process transforms triggers into teachers. External criticism is no longer an attack on their worth. It is simply information about the other person's pain or a reflection of an unintegrated part of themselves. They realize that their anger at the manipulator was often frustrated with their own suppressed, healthy self-care. The ability to see this is the reaction gap, the psychological space
where conscious choice replaces unconscious reaction. The unbothered person learns to observe the trigger as if watching a movie. They realize you are not your emotions, you are the consciousness that observes your emotions. The emotional attack passes through them like light through glass. This isn't cold, it's compassionate immunity. They can feel the narcissist's pain, but they refuse to enable the harmful behavior. They can love the person, but they reject the dysfunction. This process creates psychological invulnerability. The empath transforms every potential weakness into a source of strength through emotional alchemy. The most disturbing part for Jung was the permanent nature of the change. The integrated empath could no longer be manipulated. Why does this terrify the narcissist? Because the awakened empath is a living truth detector. The moment the empath integrates their shadow, they stop projecting their own integrity onto others. They stop seeing potential in broken people and start seeing reality. They see through the love bombing, the guilt trips, and the manufactured crisis. The narcissist unconsciously fears this transformation because they recognize the predator's instinct. Their usual tactics won't work. They sense that their emotional supply is gone. They avoid integrated empaths like vampires avoid sunlight. Jung observed the projection reversal. When someone attacks you, they are telling you everything about their psychology and nothing about yours. When the empath stops participating in the drama, when they stop defending, explaining, and trying to earn love, the entire manipulative system collapses. The narcissist's mask is held up only by the empath's willingness to wear the endlessly forgiving persona. Once the empath stops forgiving reflexively, the mask falls away for everyone. The family dynamics collapse because the empath refuses to enable dysfunction. Toxic people expose themselves through desperate attempts to pull the empath back into old patterns. The empath's new calm disturbs them more than any rage ever could. The transformation leads to the sovereign empath. They have traded many relationships for a few meaningful ones. They still possess the ability to feel deeply, but they become selectively empathic. They choose where their empathy flows, recognizing their sensitivity is a gift requiring strategic deployment. This is the creation of conscious sovereignty. The empath uses their gifts consciously and strategically. They can read clients' real needs, identify emotional predators within minutes, and trust their intuitive intelligence completely. They become psychological architects. The ultimate realization is this: the empath's ultimate danger lies not in what they do, but in what they refuse to do anymore. They refuse to absorb what isn't theirs. They refuse to manage others' emotions. They refuse to sacrifice their well-being for others' comfort. This conscious withdrawal is more powerful than any attack because it's based on psychological non-violence. Without the empath's unconscious cooperation, the manipulative dynamic can no longer sustain itself. The awakened empath models a different way of being, becoming a consciousness pioneer. Their transformation creates permission waves that help others choose sovereignty too. The journey isn't from sensitivity to numbness, it's from unconscious absorption to conscious choice. You don't lose your heart, you gain a backbone. You become love with boundaries. Jung's final warning was clear. You are not too much. You are exactly what this unconscious world needs to wake up. Your sensitivity is not your weakness, it is your early warning system. The empath will snap. The only question is, will you integrate that power consciously, or will you let life force it upon you destructively? Choose consciousness over convenience. Choose authenticity over approval. Choose psychological sovereignty over unconscious slavery. Tell me in the comments, what boundary are you ready to set today to claim your empathic sovereignty? I am sovereign in my empathy. Thank you for watching. See you in the next dimension.